Hello my friends! I'm so happy to meet you again for this new color along. This time we're going to explore Rita Berman, the world under the glass underwater. We're going to color this page, which will be a quick little coloring to do together for fun. Here you have the color palette for the octopus. It's possible that at the end I'll add a little bit of neon pink. So this picture is the first image of the book, and so when your book is folded up, you see here the picture which is on the back cover. But what you can do, once you will have colored this picture, it's to fold the cover over, and the picture that you'll see here in the hole will be the one that we'll have colored together. Sharpen your pencils, let's go! So, the first thing to always do when coloring is to insert a page between your page and the next page to avoid ink transfers on the next page. I start with processed red and I use a small sheet to protect the page from the palm of my hand. Since I'm going to use soft pastel on the background, I don't want any traces on the page that will catch the soft pastel differently. I apply a first layer of processed red in certain places without pressing too hard. We'll intensify thereafter. My idea is that the light comes from here, and therefore all the parts of the octopus that are exposed to this light will be brighter, and that's why on these parts I will rather put yellow tints. For the moment, I ignore the suction cups. I color on it, we'll deal with them later with Posca. For each tentacle, I apply the processed red on the part that is not exposed to the light. The second color will be hot pink. With the hot pink, I just blend my process red, and I go a little further with this pink, which is lighter while being very lively. I blend, but I don't saturate the paper, so I don't press very hard. Otherwise, I'll saturate the paper and I won't be able to add more layers. There are still layers that will come afterwards, so you press a little more, but not too hard. From time to time, I rinse my tip on my draft sheet to avoid having too many pigments of the darker color on the tip of my bright pink. I hadn't listed it in the list of colors, but it's clearly a pencil we can't live without. In any case, I can't live without it. It's the white pencil from Prismacolor. With this white pencil, I blend the lightest part of my pink with the part that I left blank. I take the color by making small circular movements, and I bring it slightly on the white, which will take a slightly pinkish hue. This will facilitate the transition with my orange and my yellow. As for the pink, from time to time, I clean the tip on a white draft sheet that I have on the side. Then I take the pomegranate to make my pink warmer, and I accentuate the shadows. There are two important things to have beautiful effects on your coloring pages. It's the shadows and the contrast, and they really go together. If you apply a light color, it will look bland unless you highlight that color with the shadow next to it. Playing with shadows and contrasts is really something that will add extra to your colorings. When I make a shadow, I always soften it afterwards. I mix the pomegranate with the hot pink so that the shadow blends into my main color. And I add a little bit of processed red, which is the color between the bright pink and the pomegranate, to have a nice gradient. I add a little white on the light areas to make sure my transition will be smooth. And it's now that the sun comes up with the Spanish orange. Don't add too much of this color because if you go too hard, it's going to clash with the pink. I apply a very thin layer and I always leave a lighter area where I use deco yellow. And now I apply deco yellow to finish illuminating the areas that are in the light. I'm not pressing too hard, this yellow shouldn't be too bright, but I want my little octopus to have happy colors, like Rita Berman's drawing usually have. Then I do touch-ups according to what I see on my page. Here I would like a little more pink, so I add some hot pink. And it's now that I have a little fun with my neon pink, to add a little bit of shine to my hot pink. Now I accentuate the rays of the sun with my Spanish orange. And to finish, the deco yellow on the lightest area. Next, I take the espresso to accentuate the areas that are really completely in the shadow. That's to say, below a tentacle, for example. It will give my octopus more relief. Every time I put in a shadow with the espresso color, I tone it down with the darkest color in my color palette. It also takes away the brown side to that shadow, and it accentuates the initial color I had used, namely pomegranate. For the tentacles, you take either the thinnest Posca you have. Here I have the 1M, but I think it's still a little too wide. You can also take a uniball Signo, which makes a line slightly thinner. I'm showing you here on the draft sheet. The suction cup looks like this. We colored it, so in white you won't go all around the suction cup, but only the lower part. And you leave a small triangle here. You see, I represent it to you like that, where you leave the darkest color that we applied. It's to give relief to your suction cup. You see, I go pretty much all the way around, but I don't let the two ends meet. I wait a few minutes for the Posca to be dry, and then I accentuate the edges with pomegranate or with espresso. Here it's espresso because the area is already too dark for pomegranate, so we use espresso so we can see the shadow to add relief to this suction cup. When I see that the pomegranate color is not visible enough to make a shadow, I switch to espresso. Here is our little pink octopus finished. You see, it was all easy. And now you can replace the octopus of the cover by yours. You see, it's your coloring which appears here on the cover of the book. Now we're going to make the fishes. They are very small, it won't take a lot of time. I'll just make a slight gradient in different colors on the fish. I start with this color combination. I do a simple gradient on the fish. Now, to give our fish a little shiny look, we're just going to make a Posca line on each one. I take the thinnest Posca I have, the 1M, and I make a fine line on each fish. A little touch-up with Staedtler pigment liner, here I'm using size 0.3, allows you to accentuate the eyes that have been a little dulled by the pencils. Now, let's move on to the bubbles. I'm going to use all the colors I used for the fish. We are in a drawing by Rita Berman, and Rita Berman's characteristic when she colors is to put a bunch of colors everywhere. To stay in this universe that I like a lot, I'm going to apply lots of colors. You have a hello from Plume, having a big sleep here near me. How are you, my little kitty? To make the bubbles, I start with a dark circle on the top. Then I mix this circle with a lighter color that does not fill the whole bubble. I leave a small white area on the edge. And then I underline the bottom edge with the white. On some bubbles, I can add a little yellow. And I'm going to do this on all the bubbles with different colors. With my Posca, I make a small line followed by a point if I have enough space, otherwise I only make a point in the dark area. And that's how you have bubbles that look like candy. You can also add a touch of yellow on some green bubbles. I hope you had fun coloring this little octopus with me. In the second part, we'll continue this page with a very simple seabed with soft pastels. If you liked this video, feel free to like it and subscribe to my channel. A little comment also always makes me happy. See you soon! Happy colorings!